Oh hey, didn't see you come in. Today we're going to be showing you a couple of different ways of recording vocals into Cubase. The first is the most commonly used, and that is to employ the Rode NT1A, which is the primary vocal recording mic. It's got really good signal to noise ratio and a nice high frequency response, so it's perfect for recording our vocals. If you want more information on the different mics that we've got and what they're used for, check out our microphones video.
Okay, so what we've done is we put our vocal booth in the corner of the room, because on the walls, right, all the way around the corner, is a very thick layer of soundproofing. This cuts out all of the sound and unwanted noise that you want. Also, we're using a vocal booth. This is called the T-bone. Okay, we put the mic into the cradle, and then you've got this extra bit of soundproofing, which basically means if I'm singing into here, then you've got a whole wall that surrounds you at a perfect curve, which means there's going to be no corners, there's nothing that's going to rebound the noises back to you. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the Rode NT1 into the vocal booth. Right, now because the Rode NT1 is such a thick microphone, we have to employ what's called the cradle. Okay, it's bigger than the normal mic stands that are used. Okay, so what we do is we press the sides here, and the microphone will just slip in. Then you let it go again, and it will hold it. Always make sure that the golden dot is facing your performer, because that's the side that's going to pick it up. If it's facing the other way, then they're going to be talking into the mic, it's going to be going into this, and it's all just going to die. Then you're not going to be able to hear your performer at all. Okay, the last thing you need to do before we introduce your performer into the room is set up your pop shield. Pop shield goes here between your performer and the microphone. So if my hand's the performer, it wants to be literally between you and the microphone. Okay? All the plosives, that's the P's and the B's sounds, are going to get picked up by the microphone's diaphragm. So when you breathe and you hit B, air is going to hit the diaphragm and it's going to go poof, clip. It's not a good signal. Okay? So that's what this is here for. So if you go, all the air is getting caught by the pop shield. Okay, we've introduced our performer into the room. What we need to ensure is that the mic stand and the mic level, so where the diaphragm is on the microphone, wants to be at the same height as your performer's lips. Yeah, you don't want them to be looking up too much, because you can hear when I'm doing it already, it's straining my voice. You want them to be looking down into the microphone. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to swivel our person around, and we're going to place them here. All right, they're now too far away from the microphone, so I move them forward slightly. They should be able to do that by themselves. Okay, you should be familiar with the XLR cables already. The male end goes into the wall, and the female end goes into your microphone. Just done this now.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go a bit more in depth in how to set a good gain structure. So, come on over. First thing we've got to do, if we're using a condenser mic, which the Rode is, we've got to turn plus 48 volts on. That's the phantom power. Powers the mic. If you don't have that on, your mic doesn't work. Only for the condenser mics. For dynamic microphones, we don't need that. So the SM58, the SM57, stuff like that. Cool. Then we need to set our gain structure. You'll notice that once we've set all of these buttons up, sending it to channel 1, sending it to the mix, and turning the channel on, if we now pull the gain up a bit, you'll notice over on the LEDs on the right hand side, whenever I talk, we get a nice signal coming through. The one we've got in here isn't perfect at the moment, but ideally, when your singer is singing their loudest, you want several of the dots to be turning on, but never going into orange and red. That's when you get distortion and clipping, as Bad News Bears. I've had a haircut and I changed clothes. So, the gain is really important. We haven't really emphasised it enough. When you're doing vocals, you need to get a really good gain structure, because the better your gain structure, the better your signal to noise ratio, the better your recording. High quality recording is what we're after, less to do in post-production. Okay, so what tends to happen is when you're recording someone in the studio for maybe the first time, if you don't have much experience, you don't know what can go wrong. When you're setting up your gain structure, which as we've discussed is really important, if you just tell someone to start singing and make noise, you won't get an accurate representation of their loudest singing voice, which is what you're trying to get. So, what you should instead do is say, we're going to set the gain structure up now, I'm going to play the track. Play the track at the part where it's going to be loudest, and then the person singing will sing their loudest, and you'll get the gain structure set up for that point of the song so that it never clips, regardless of how loud they start singing during the song, because you've already got that bit sorted out.
Okay, so we've hit record next door, and now we're going to get a take.
You must be swift as a coursing river, with all the force of a great typhoon, with all the strength of a raging fire, mysterious as the dark side of the moon.
What do you think? Is that good?
That's all you need to know about recording the vocals. Back to the studio. No.
Okay.
Okay.